I hope this letter reaches you in time. I don't know where else to turn or who to trust. I can't keep my mother's notes and papers here any longer. It's just too dangerous. My apartment has been ransacked. My mother's teaching assistant was attacked. I'm sure I'm being followed. I keep seeing a man with a burned, scarred face everywhere I go. I'm afraid to talk about any of this on the phone or by email. I feel like they're always watching. It's been over a week since she went missing. I can't reach my mother by phone or email. No one has seen or heard from her after the accident. This all started nearly 3 months ago when my mother received a letter from an old friend in England. He's an Anglican priest. Something in that letter changed her. She started spending days at a time in the library and archives. She slept very little, ate very little. She canceled classes. She never cancels classes. I'd never seen her like that before. Driven, haunted, obsessed. I have to find her. Will you help me? Very truly yours, David W. Whittington. Now, what I have just read, is the letter that came with the box. The box is the box. A box I've been talking about on and off for, I believe, since the beginning of the channel. A box that has been haunting me since the day I got it, Easter of 2016. This is the box. Back when Gravity Falls was still in the air, and everybody was talking about ARGs and everything, when the Slenderverse was coming back, and Nick Nocturne was making a big, huge thing of himself, my mom knew I loved all these things and decided I will spend $200 on the pre-release version of a puzzle that will later come out in October of 2016. Simply known as the box. The pre-release version of Bones of Angels. A puzzle put out by the Mystery Experience Company, later again in October 2016, and would later be called, at least a year later, I'm not sure now, one of the hardest puzzles that they ever put out. But this is not Bones of Angels. It is, but it's not. This is the pre-release harder version of Bones of Angels. Now imagine that for a second. This box is a harder version of a puzzle that they would then people would happily call one of their hardest puzzles ever. Can you tell why I never got through it? Sure, I got some things done in it, which we will talk about in this video, but for the most part, I have no fucking clue. None. I have ideas, I have theories, but it doesn't matter. That's all they are, is ideas and theories that we as a group will have to go through and debunk. And after doing the Cracking the Cryptic puzzle hunt and having such a fun time with it, I decided to post on Patreon and ask you guys, what do you think? Should we do this as a community? Should we work together to solve Bones of Angels pre-release? The box. And you guys voted. And you guys said yes. So as a community, let's solve this thing, shall we? I'm the Let's Play Princess. And this is part 1 of Let's Play, or ARG, Bones of Angels. The initial steps, and all of the items that came with it. So after the letter is a fake newspaper, a 4-page newspaper called the Cambridge Gazette. And some of the articles have been noted as real, and some of them have been noted as fake. Now, please note that this is supposed to be a newspaper from Cambridge, Massachusetts, which is why I was able to deduce that certain things about the newspaper are fake. For example, Ghost Rare Books does not actually exist within Cambridge, Massachusetts, or any Cambridge that I am aware of for that matter. But the fact of the matter remains that this probably has something to do with the actual puzzle. I am just not entirely sure in what way it does. On to the bottom half of the front page of the newspaper, we have the big article about Dr. Grace Whittington missing since the car accident. The short version of the article is that Grace Whittington, the mother of David, her disappearance was during a car accident. It was a 2-car accident. One car was destroyed by a fire. Grace was driving on Beacon Street, which is in fact a real street that exists in Massachusetts, at around 1:35 a.m., but no date was given on the newspaper, just that it was at 1:35 a.m. When her car was hit by a black Chevrolet Suburban. Witnesses noted both drivers exited the crashed vehicles with no problem, and within minutes they were both gone. It occurred within a 5-minute drive of her house, where she was last seen by her son David. Nobody knows why she was traveling alone, and the other driver was over 6 feet tall with a large build and dark hair. One witness reported seeing extensive scarring on one side of his face, the burned man potentially, from the opening letter that we received in the box. Page 2 of the newspaper indicates a Did You Know section with the Cambridge Gazette supposedly being founded in 1921 by students from Harvard University and has been in continuous publication for nearly 100 years. And we also have an article that I'm fairly certain is a big component to the solving of the puzzle, but in what way I'm not entirely sure yet. But it indicates that a scholar uncovers secret messages in ancient Plato texts. His works have been scrutinized and debated for more than 2,000 years by the greatest minds in history, but it turns out that the Greek philosopher Plato still has a few surprises up his sleeve. In an extraordinary discovery, a British academic claims to have uncovered a series of secret messages hidden in one of the most influential and celebrated writings of the ancient world. The code suggests that Plato was a secret follower of the philosopher Pythagoras and shared his beliefs that the secrets to the universe lie in numbers and mathematics. Claims that an ancient text contains secret messages should normally be taken with a large grain of salt. But the latest study comes from a respected classical scholar at Manchester University and has been accepted for publication by a leading academic journal. Plato, who died around 347 BC, is arguably the greatest of the Greek philosophers. With his mentor Socrates and student Aristotle, he laid down the foundations of Western philosophy and science. According to Dr. J. Kennedy, one of Plato's most important beliefs was hidden in his writing. Plato's books played a major role in founding Western culture, but they are mysterious and end in riddles, said Dr. Kennedy. In antiquity, many of his followers said that the books contained hidden layers of meaning and secret codes, but this was rejected by modern scholars. It is a long and exciting story, but basically I cracked the code. I've shown rigorously that the books do contain codes and symbols and that unraveling them revealed the hidden philosophy of Plato. He added, the result was amazing. It was like opening a tomb and finding a new set of Gospels written by Jesus Christ himself. The key to unraveling the Plato code lies in a Greek musical scale of 12 notes popular among followers of the early philosopher Pythagoras. Dr. Kennedy discovered that key phrases, words, and themes crop up in regular intervals throughout Plato's writings and that they match the spacing of these 12 notes in the musical scale. Dr. Kennedy, whose findings are published in the classics journal Epeiron, believed the pattern of symbols would have been obvious to the ancient followers of Pythagoras, and we'll get into the symbols potentially later. Dr. Kennedy argues that Plato did not use the code for pleasure but for his own safety. Plato's own teacher has been executed for heresy, or had been executed for heresy. Secrecy was normal in ancient times, especially for esoteric and religious knowledge, but for Plato it was a matter of life and death. This is the beginning of something big, said Dr. Kennedy. It will take a generation to work out the implications. Now here at the bottom of page 2 are 2 more articles that, while I am fairly certain, do not relate to the puzzle as a whole and are in fact filler articles. That is entirely my speculation, and whether or not you find something or not is completely unknown. If you do, please comment about it. This is a puzzle that we will be doing as a community, and as such, if you guys don't comment, then this is just going to be a one-shot video, and I'm going to be really upset and sad, honestly. Every single paper that you see has been scanned and will in fact be on a Google Drive that will be linked in the description of this video. And any theories that you have, we can talk about it in the comments, or I might open up a Google Drive document to open up a conversation that way. The entirety of page 3 of the newspaper, as far as I can tell, has nothing related to the overall arching puzzle of this pre-release version of Bones of Angels. But the bottom half does at least give us a cute picture of kittens. On the last page of the newspaper, we have a big overarching photo followed by an article about the firearms heiress Mary Lancaster dying. And this is a half-truth, half-lie scenario. There was, in fact, a Mary who did die that was a firearms heiress, and while that is, in fact, her house, the name isn't Lancaster. It's Winchester. That is, in fact, a picture of the real-world Winchester Mansion, or Winchester House, a very well-known in the spooky community house in which it has many staircases that go to nowhere, and it's just built in a really weird way, to the point that it actually had a movie based off of it a couple of years ago. Now, we get to the first page of 10. These are research notes that came with the box. This first page, I noted that the word notes, for some reason, is written with a 0, and it talks about Michael the angel's body being broken when he fell to earth during the whole creation war between Lucifer and God. I wondered if that was why a angel statue that came in the box that you will not be seeing was broken into pieces. And when I contacted the Mystery Experience company years ago, it turned out that that was actually not the reasoning. And in fact, everything that was not paper-related was actually just a decoration. A sort of, here, while you bought the box, we're going to give you these free gifts. And the angel statue just came broken. They were willing to replace it, but since it had nothing to do with the puzzle, I decided, what did it matter? Page 2 of the notes says that Michael was only mentioned 5 times by name in the Bible, and it even gives the locations. While 2 archangels are mentioned in the Quran, it gives the locations. Or one of 2 archangels is mentioned in the Quran. We also have a Lobel Pianetto Che de Mar Conforta blah 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 blah, which translates to the beauteous planet that to love was all riders in the east, veiling the fishes that were in her escort. There's also 2 markings on the right side of the page, a bit in a language I assume is in the Quran, by which I mean the bottom part, but I'm not sure what it actually says. And the top one, in the top right corner, is completely unknown to me. If anybody has any ideas what that could even possibly mean, again, comments are appreciated. For page 3 of the notes, the writer believes the book Paradise Lost is more than it seems, as the writer talks about the battle between Michael and Lucifer with amazing clarity. The writer of the notes, and we don't know who that is, believes John Milton wrote the war between the 2 angels as if he were there. On page 4 of the research notes, it brings up that Milton brought up where Michael may be resting, by which I mean his broken up body after the fight between Lucifer and himself. The writer then brings up possible locations for Michael's tomb. On the bottom of the page is a bunch of numbers, which you cannot put through a A1Z26 cipher, as some of these numbers, like 59 and 93, are a lot higher than the aforementioned Z equals 26. They also can't be pages from a book, of which a copy of Dante's Purgatory was in fact in the box as well, which we will get to, but using the numbers as a first number is the page, second number is the word on the page, it's not doable, because the copy of the book that I have that came with the box has the original Latin on the left side and the English translation on the right side. Now the problem with that is, if we were to use the first number, every odd number is a page, and every even number is the word on that page, you would start to realize that some of these words are going to be Latin, some of them are going to be English, and it just becomes a big huge hodgepodge of nothing. So what the numbers on the bottom of page 4 mean? No clue. On the final 6 pages of the research notes are easy to understand and read notes about each location that has the potential for being Michael's final tomb and resting place. On page 5 we have the St. Michael's Mount. On page 6 we have the Skellig Michael. On page 7 the Monte Gargano. On page 8 the Castello St. Angelo. On page 9 the Sacra di San Michele, and please remember the picture of Pisces on the right side of this paper because that will become important in a little bit. And on page 10 is the notes about the Mont St. Michael. Now, these 2 pages, I don't actually know what they are or what they mean. I know one of them is Michael, staying on top of Lucifer, but the other one is completely unknown to me. That is not a language, that's not anything that I understand. The bottom half of it, I don't even believe translates to anything, if memory serves. Let me double check my notes real quick. Yeah, it says Estella Laboria de S. Miguel de los Royes, but that doesn't actually translate to anything according to the wonders of Google Translate. At least that's what it did back in 2016 to 17. Not entirely sure now if that does in fact mean anything now. The next item in the box is an envelope from the office of the Bishop Diocese of Oxford for Dr. Grace Whittington of 927 Creighton Street of Cambridge, Massachusetts, 02138. And of course, 927 Creighton Street is in fact not a real address. Now, inside of the envelope came a letter which reads as follows. Dr. Grace Whittington, 0927 Creighton Street, Cambridge, Massachusetts, 02138. Dear Grace, when we were only students at Oxford so many years ago, I took you into my confidence, and together we pursued a secret of almost unimaginable importance. The Corinthian course of that journey marked one of the most memorable times of my life. I have no doubt that those days and discoveries still inform your dreams and nightmares, as they do mine. Had we not reached the limits of our strength and courage against the adversaries who sought to stop us by any means required, we might have solved that great mystery and forever changed the world. When we began in the library of my family's ancestral home in Cornwall, we only had the hints left for us by those writers of antiquity who concealed clues within their great works for those readers who possessed the knowledge to discern their meaning. I of course assume this means Dante's Purgatory, but how to translate it is again unknown. Now we have access to the whole of that hidden history concealed by the Anglican church and libraries, abbeys, and monasteries. We have been given Clavis Aurea, which the Clavis Aurea does in fact translate to golden key. A golden key does come in a smaller box that is within the box itself, but the golden key doesn't actually do anything physically with any other item of this puzzle. My dearest Grace, may I call upon you again to pick up the remnants of that quest and join me once more in pursuit of the lost tomb of St. Michael the Archangel? We are older now, wiser and perhaps stronger, and my appointment as bishop now permits me access to information previously hidden. I am now more certain than ever that the Archangel Michael was slain in the war between the angels, suffering a mortal wound as he struck the final blow that drove Lucifer from the heavens. We were close to finding the location of Michael's tomb, his final resting place after he fell to the earth, and I am now determined to finish the quest. Astra inclinant, sed non obligant. Very truly yours, Bishop Robert St. Aubin. the Right Reverend Robert St. Aubin. Astra Inclinans sed non obligant has already been translated, and it translates to the stars incline us, they do not bind us. Whether or not that means anything to do with, again, the Pisces bit is entirely unknown to me. The final bit that is loose within the box is a map of Europe, and what I am assuming is Latin, but what to do with it, if anything, is completely unknown to me at this point as well. Many things are, in fact, unknown to me by this point. Now this and the following 6 other pictures were founded within Dante's Purgatory, and all of them are still in their respected places from where they were 6 years ago, or 4 years ago, sorry about that. This picture, St. Michael the Archangel, is founded on page 30, the very first page of Canto number 4, which is the opening lines, "When any of our faculties retains a strong impression of delight or pain, a soul will wholly concentrate on that." Those are the first 3 lines of that page, Dante's Purgatory. This picture, which is the St. Michael's Mount, is founded between Cantos 19 and 10, as this is the Bantam Classic copy of Dante's Purgatory with a verse translation by Alan Mandelbaum, or Mandelbaum, which means in between the chapters there are in fact 2 pictures, of which I cannot scan, nor do I believe they have anything to do with the puzzle. Picture 3 is of the Mount Gargano, and it is between pages 160 and 169 of Dante's Purgatory, which are the canto number 18, lines 109 through 145. This picture is the Skellig Michael, and it exists right at the beginning of canto number 25. This is a picture of the Castel St. Angelo, and it exists between pages 300 and 301, which are canto 32, lines 70 through 109. Here we have a picture of the Sacre di San Michele, surrounded by notes for canto number 11. And here finally we have the Mont Saint Michel, right next to notes for cantos 25 and the beginning of the notes for 26. Now, inside the box within the box that I've already talked about, in the box within the box, I took it apart initially and there was nothing else but the contents within. First has an envelope which contains this. Now, if we were to use a Caesar cipher and go 1 letter back, it reads as follows. The lovely planet that is patroness of love made all the eastern heavens glad, nailing the Pisces in the train she led. For it would not be seemly to approach with eyes still dimmed by any mists, the first custodian angel, one from paradise. This solitary island, all around its very base, there where the breakers pound, bears rushes on its soft and muddy ground. Now, while it does bring up Pisces, I think the bigger point here is that the lovely planet goddess of love does in fact have to be Venus. The next item in the secondary box was a double-sided picture. This is the first side, and I'm not sure of the significance, but the second side is a lot more interesting. Said flip side contains a picture of Pisces again, with a phrase in Italian. Please note that the phrase is in fact a line from Dante's Purgatory, and it translates to, "The beauteous planet that to love writer did all the east, of love made all the eastern heavens glad, veiling the fishes that were in her escort." That's what Google Translate translated it to all those years ago. Now, what's funny is that the "of love made all the eastern heavens glad" was already written in English, and that we've seen this phrase before. It was in page 2 of the research notes. We then have a picture of St. Michael with nothing I can really tell needed for it, or anything that is part of the bigger story of this whole puzzle and everything. We then have a photo of a priest reading a Bible, and it's a 2-sided photo with the other side containing this cryptogram. but of course it is the exact same as the Grace postcard that we read a little bit ago. The whole, that lovely planet goddess, yada yada blah blah. We then have blueprints for the Dumont St. Michel in Paris from 1703. Next is a picture of Grace Whittington with a cryptogram on the back that, translated with an Atabash cipher, will become this. Then with expanded wings he steers his flight, aloft incumbent on the dusky air that felt unusual weight, till on dry land he lights. If it were land that ever burned was solid, as a lake with liquid fire. And such appeared in hue as when the force of subterranean wind transports a hill, torn from Polaris, or the shattered side of thundering Etna, whose combustible and fueled entrails, thence conceiving fire, sublimed with mineral fury, aid the winds, and leave a singed bottom all involved with stench and smoke. Such resting found the soul of unblessed feet. Him followed his next mate, both glorying to have escaped the Stygian flood as gods, and by their own recovered strength, not by the sufferance of supernal power, is this the region, this the soil, the clime, said then the lost archangel, this the seat that we must change for heaven, this mournful gloom for that celestial light? By the way, when doing an Atabash cipher, never let autocorrect be on, or you'll get little mistakes like the width at the beginning. And it should also be noted that this was in fact a passage from Paradise Lost. These last four are photos that are the final bits from the box. This is it. Now, of course, the second photo is in fact one of the pictures that we saw earlier, the drawing, but besides that, I'm not entirely sure where to go from here. So again, technically, I just lied to you guys, but at the same time, I haven't. What I've shown you is in fact the whole puzzle so far, but it's not the whole puzzle in general. Everything that you've seen in the last 27 minutes has been part 1 of the puzzle. The puzzle, in fact, came with a USB, of which the contents you are seeing right now. Unfortunately, that means that all the physical stuff that you have seen scanned at this point are part 1 of the puzzle, like I said. Parts 2 and 3 are on this USB, but unfortunately, the problem becomes they are encrypted. Password encrypted, and we have to find out what the password is.